Right then folks, Jacob here. Today we're going to be doing another Trading 101 video, specifically looking at Crusader and of course the surrounding moons. This will also include Grimhex and PO portals are. So here there is a pretty decent and fast turnaround. There is only one route however, so of course stay tuned for that. There is also a couple of additional tips for this route to make more out of it. The advantage of trading around Crusader with this particular route is that you generally don't have to deal with atmosphere, as your sell and most buy points are space stations or moons with little atmosphere. The only exception to that, however, would of course be Daemar. So eventually we'll get to the actual major trade route location later in the video, however we'll cover the other areas first. And now this is the only reason I'm doing this is so that you are aware of them and you can refer to these later on. Generally, if you want to do your own sort of investigations in regards to route potentials and all that good stuff. So firstly, we're going to head to Yela, given that I'm at Grimhex at the time, and we're going to go first to Benson Mining Outpost. Now here you can get acetine, however the buy price isn't great. There are a number of other things here such as fluorine, chlorine, hydrogen, etc. But of course these aren't worth trading just because, I mean, sure, you can fill the cap possibly, but the buy price and then the sell price and the net profit just isn't that great, so you generally want to avoid it. Moving on to Deacon's Research Outpost. At Deacon's, most notably, you can buy medical supplies and stims here. The amount of medical supplies you can buy here isn't great. The microtech areas do better for medical supplies. Stims may be a good trading option here given the lowest buy price is bang on 2.8 UEC a unit, with the max sale price being 3.8 UEC a unit. This is definitely a good way of going early on if you don't have the capital for other trading options, and of course I'll show those later on. Moving on to RCorp Area 157, again you can buy acetine here, however it's even more expensive than previous and you can't buy anywhere near the same amount. There are other things you can buy here, again not worth buying unless your capital is super low. Even so, there are better options such as stims mentioned before. If you want to trade acetine for whatever reason, again have a look at this microtech route where the potential for acetine trading is definitely up there, but there are better trading options in general. Moving on to Daemar, again Daemar has a thicker atmosphere, so I'd say generally avoid Daemar. However, looking at RCorp Area 141, you do have the option to buy a couple of things we've yet to see, including mainly Agricium, then Beryl, I don't know that word, just we're going to call it berries. Berries. And then of course alongside berries you can buy tungsten. Again, stims will be the better option than these two. This Agricium was a popular thing to buy in the previous 3.9.1 patch, especially so for smaller ships. However, here there's not a lot to buy and the price is fairly high. Lowest price typically being 22.5 UEC and the highest sell being 27.5 UEC at best. Moving on to Shubin Facility SCD. Here you can buy gold, which we've yet to see. Again, you can't buy a lot, and everything else is generally equally as bad, even if you can brim the caterpillar. So just don't bother. Moving on to Bountiful Harvest. I never even put my landing gear down here, funnily enough, and I never even realised to look up back to the ship. But anyway, you can buy distilled spirits here, although it looks good, you can't buy much of it, and it's most certainly not popular to trade. I can't say I've tried it myself, but I mean, I've never really seen anyone or spoken to anyone that really trades it. So maybe it's good. I'm fairly sure it's not, but whatever. Now, moving on to selling, to Terra Mills specifically. Again, on selling, the atmosphere is thin, so you can go virtually the speed you want. However, it's easy to overshoot. At Terra Mills, you can nab yourself distilled spirits again. However, generally not the thing to want to trade. But again, the option is there. Moving on to Gallant Family Farms, similar story here to that of Terra Mills. You can buy distilled spirits, as well as processed food, and Revenant Tree something or other. But honestly, not worth trading, probably ever. Just do stims, really. Now, second to last, we'll be going to Hicks Research Outpost. You can nab yourself a reasonable amount of medical supplies, although not a lot in comparison to areas around microtech, so don't even bother. It's quite expensive, and I don't think you can sell very much of it at PO, so yeah, don't bother. I mean, maybe you can sell some at Grimhex, but we'll get to that. Stims is definitely a decent option to buy sell, and again you can brim the cat for 1,660,000 UEC for a likely profit of 5,500 UEC a run. This is all that's worth mentioning for this outpost, so that's all well and good. And of course, again, because it's on selling, there's no atmosphere, you can get in and out to PO pretty quick. So although 55 UEC a run doesn't sound like a lot, your actual turnover is a lot more. Last but not least, the legendary Tram and Myers. This is literally the place to buy things to sell, more specifically Laranite than Diamond or Titanium. Typically, you'll always be able to fill the cat with Diamond, unlike Titanium, for a lower initial investment. This of course makes Diamond the smarter choice for sure. The amount of Laranite I could buy was quite low from what I've seen before here. However, I was able to bag myself another 9 UEC on top of the 4 UEC I had bought initially. I've only bought more Laranite here, literally, just to make a point, and that point you'll see in the next few moments. After you've bought some Laranite, you'll want to brim the cat with Diamond, after you've bought the Laranite, of course. Now, when you arrive at Port Alisar, in order to avoid, or potentially to avoid padrammers, although not quite as common as they once were, you'll want to suicide the moment you land to get yourself to the hab. From here, you want to go to the ship console and return your ship, and then you want to take yourself to the sell terminal. You can see here that there is only a small amount of Laranite that you can sell, which obviously isn't that great. Diamond, in this scenario, I could sell everything all at once for about a 1 EUC profit per unit. However, the Arc Corp trade routes do better for profit with Diamond. Of course, see the annotation if you're interested in that route. It's not as fast as this, but it's definitely more profitable with a reasonable investment. Lastly, after you've sold the Diamond, or in my case I've sold the Diamond, lastly you'll want to get the cat back out, or whatever ship you've got, a Carrack, whatever, and you want to make your way over to Grim Hex. There is a small danger around Grim Hex given the whole comms array thing, so you might want to be careful. I mean, if there's like a lot of ships around, maybe you want to back off or whatever, but it's at your own risk. Now at Grim Hex, I'm able to sell all the Laranite at maximum price that it'll go for. So you definitely want to bring Laranite to Grim Hex for like a 3 UEC profit per unit kind of margin, which is pretty decent, all things considered. So this is where you want to sell Laranite. I'm not so sure about the higher quantities, I honestly don't remember, but even if you can't sell all of the Laranite that you buy, let's say you buy 40 or 50 UEC, it's definitely going to be worth bringing it here over Port Alisar any day of the week. Doesn't matter. Just bring it here, sell it here. Job done. Now to summarise, if you want to trade in Crusader, your starting place is going to be Stims, I would expect. I haven't actually thoroughly researched this, but the profit per unit is near enough equal to that of Diamond. Now I didn't actually buy any Stims or sell any. I don't even know if you can sell them at Grim Hex or PO. But it's definitely worth it, so definitely research that before. I honestly should have done, and I just didn't for whatever reason, so that's my bad if it's bad advice, but you'll find out, and I'm obviously not responsible. That's at your own cost. Now, it's always going to be better off to buy Diamond rather than Titanium at Tram and Myers, so you'll definitely want to do that. However, if you know what the sell price is of Titanium in Port Alisar, as long as it's in and around the 8.9 UEC mark for Titanium, that's going to be the way to go. And then the last thing I'll mention is Diamond sells equally well at PO as well as Grim Hex, although on some occasions you may not be able to sell it all at once. So just to note that. If you're interested in a giveaway, as long as you've made comments on any of my videos between now and when I reach 250 subscribers, you will be entered into a draw for $25 of store credit for the RSI site. Thank you ever so much for watching. Today's video sponsor is the like button for the glorious YouTube algorithm. That will of course allow this channel to grow with your support. Obviously don't forget to comment or subscribe if you haven't already. If you aren't aware, I generally upload 3 to 5 times a week, so be sure to check back. My name is Jacob, thank you, and goodbye for now.